Good evening. Welcome to the new moon of Thursday, September the 17th in Virgo. Now, is this a good new moon? Because we know there may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Well, hasn't it been a year like that? And is this new moon still going to be pretty difficult? Well, I've got good news actually, because this new moon in Virgo is actually a really good new moon because it is in Virgo. Not only is it in Virgo, but it's being beautifully trined by the planets, my big boys as I call them, in Capricorn. So what does this all mean? Well, first of all, we need to think about what's the meaning behind Virgo. What does Virgo represent? Because it's a sign about health. It's a sign about service to others. It's a sign about being very particular and being very detailed in what we do, the work we do. Especially if you think about it with the fact that we have this virus that we are having to contend with for the whole of this year. Now, what this means is that with Virgo can, because it is about health, it could mean that there are going to be some more detailed reports coming to light about new ways to deal with the virus. It could be new ways to cope with it in terms of the testing facilities, which we do know they are trying to do. It could also be about that they find even better ways to manage the virus if you actually do contract it. So that all has to be good news. But what's it going to be on a more personal level for all of us? Because this new moon is beautifully aspected by Saturn and Pluto and loosely by Jupiter, the big boys in Capricorn. Now remember, Capricorn is about structure. It's about discipline. It's about putting down good foundations. Now, if we are going to get through the next, say, 6 to 12 months living with this current situation, because let's be honest, I don't think it's going to suddenly go away. So what Capricorn is saying to us, and the good news is, remember, that both Saturn and Jupiter are going to be leaving Capricorn and going into Aquarius at the end of the year. That's super good news. And that's super good news because it means the whole energy sense is going to shift. Now, we want the energy to shift. We want it to shift away from this kind of restriction and feeling that we are being, blocked and stopped from doing the kind of things that we would like to do. So the new moon is about new things. It's in Virgo. Virgo is about service to others. It can be about pets and small animals. It can be about health. So it may be that this is actually an incredibly good time because it's trined, which means well aspected by Saturn, to actually start a new health regime. I'm sure a lot of you out there, certainly like myself, have gained a few kilos, pounds through this year because, I don't know, it's just been a bit challenging, hasn't it? So this would be a really good time, the energy of this new moon, to put into place some new health regimes, to kind of up the exercise, so up the cardio, because, one of our biggest weapons against this virus is to have a good immune system. Now, if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not looking after our immune system. So that really is super important. Also, this new moon, because all new moons are about sowing seeds, so with health, that means it's a really good time to really look at your diet. And, you know, the gut actually is almost like a second brain for the body, or the body ecosystem, if you like. And if the gut is not in balance, then actually our immune system is not in balance. And I know some really lovely nutritionists out there. I'm probably not getting it quite technically right, but I'm sure they will put me right on that later on. But I do know from what I've learned this year that if we pay attention to our gut and actually really make sure that we have a healthy gut reaction to our holistic being, then actually our health and our immune system is going to be in a much better position to fight off any infection, including the coronavirus. So also, you know, being active, because, you know, Mars is actually making quite a difficult aspect at the moment in his retrograde phase to our big boys in Capricorn. Now, if we want to sort of, if you like, serve and please Mars in Aries, then perhaps what we have to do is actually pay attention to our physicality. And actually, as the weather cools in the Northern Hemisphere, it gives us a perfect opportunity to start taking better physical care of ourselves and actually do some kind of workouts. And I can't see me doing a workout, but there we go. But I will start walking when it cools down here in beautiful Gozo. I really will. I've been swimming, so I've been a good person. I've been swimming. Now, also what I want to mention with this new moon is that we have to remember with new moons that they kind of set the tone. So they're setting the tone, they're giving you the opportunity to really set in place, and you have to look at what area in your chart is being activated by this particular new moon. And I'm going to tell you about that in about 30 seconds, because I shall go through all the signs and tell you how it's going to affect you personally. So shall we do that now? Right, we will. Okay, so let's just before I start that, I just want to just briefly go over what's happening this month of September, because remember next week on the 22nd, we actually have the autumn equinox. So we have the solstice for the autumn, where the sun from Virgo moves into Libra. And that is a significant kind of marker, if you like, in the astrological calendar, because what it's doing is it's moving us into a different phase, a different energy. So we will be moving from the Virgo energy of attention to detail, attention to day-to-day work. You know, it's September, we tend to get back to everyday activities, to work. We you know, hopefully if they're allowed, the children are going back to school, this kind of thing. And with the move of the sun into Libra, which happens on the 23rd of September next week, Libra is more about relationship. It's more about partnership. It's more about relating to others and fairness. And so, you know, I've noticed, and I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, how much the people in general are getting very frustrated by this whole situation that we're in. And I fully understand that. But we're also, I think, all of us getting quite short-tempered and thinking we know best about everything. And I certainly don't know best about everything. I just do what I feel is right for myself. I try and serve myself well, and my close friends and people I come into contact with, and respect their wishes and what they wish to do. So Libra is more about that. So with this Libra sort of advent next week, it really is about trying to be kinder to our fellow man. So now let's move on to what is happening in all your signs, because I know you want to know that. So we're going to start with Aries this time. Just for a change, we'll start with Aries. So Aries, hi out there, Aries. So I know quite a few Aries, and you know, Aries have, well, like all the signs, been through the mill a bit. But anyway, the new moon for you in Virgo is in your 6th house. So this really is very much about your day-to-day work, your health. So if you, Aries, know that there are areas of your physicality that you really need to be paying attention to, now's a really good time to set that in place, whether it's what was it? I saw something about sober October. Well, I don't know whether we're going to do that, or soberish October. But, you know, maybe some of us, we just have to sort of cut back a bit on you know, the excesses that we've all enjoyed through the summer to compensate with all the sort of the trauma that we're living through. And also for you, Aries, because it brings in the energy of your 10th house, which is career and work, I do really feel for you, Aries, that this new moon, if there are sort of job issues that you wish to set in place, in the sense of maybe applying for a new job, looking for a new job, looking for a new position, shifting the whole focus of your career, then this is a really good new moon to set those energies in place, to really see if you can actually kind of initiate something. So really, really lovely for you, Aries. Good luck with that. Now, Taurus, for you, this new moon is in your 5th house of creativity, children, and it can also be a little bit of romance, and it can also be creative projects. So, Taurus, what do you want to initiate and to kind of bring to the fore in your life with projects? Is there something you've been kind of thinking, I really like to get this sort of out there and on the world stage? Because it trines, of course, with Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter in your 9th house. And the 9th house, of course, is about, you know, kind of further education and higher learning. So, you know, this is really interesting for you, Taurus, because I just think with everything that's been going on for you, Taurus, especially with Uranus in your sign, which has been stirring you up and probably as a Taurian, you've been surprising a lot of people with the way you have been responding to life in general, because I think you really want to see changes in your own life. And this new moon is giving you the opportunity to perhaps, you know, sort of really expand your learning. Now, Gemini, what's this new moon for you? It's in your 4th house of home, and it's trining the Capricorn boys in your 8th house in Capricorn. So I think for you, Gemini, it's about, it feels like, you know, you need to bring a fresh kind of, a bit of fresh air into your home, a lick of paint, a little bit of kind of sprucing it up and, you know, and bringing a little bit of you know, the energy of your family into your home life, and just creating a warmer, cozier atmosphere for yourself, Gemini. So then we move on to Leo. Okay, Leo. So the new moon for you is in your 2nd house of finance. So this would be a great time for you to look at investments, look at anything you want to kind of realize in terms of your finances, because there could be some very positive outcomes for you with this new moon, because it also it brings in the energy of your 6th house. So I think these financial benefits that could come your way through this new moon are actually linked in with work, because the 6th house for you, which is your Capricorn house, because that's where our big boys are. It is about day-to-day work, and it's about structure. So I think, Leo, you need to look at putting as much good foundations into the ideas you've got about what you want to produce for the next few months and where you want to see yourself in 2021. And that will really be super good for you. Moving swiftly on to Virgo. The new moon, of course, for you, Virgo, is in your first house. Trine your fifth. That means good. So in your first house, Virgo, it's all about you. And I know you're not really keen about being centre stage and in the limelight and kind of it's all about me. But I think this is about you actually giving some attention to you. And because it has been your birthday season, it still is your birthday season. Happy birthday, Virgos. And I think it's about actually just enjoying that a bit and taking that in and allowing yourself to look back over the last 6 months and think, well, even the last year, because I reckon you've achieved quite a lot, Virgo. I reckon there's been really, really super big changes for you. And, you know, because it brings in the energy of the fifth house, I suspect there are projects you've been working on in the wings or undercover that soon are going to be kind of able to be given birth to in the real world. Now, that can't be bad. Now, Libra. Libra, the new moon for you is in your 12th house. So this is all about the inner you. This is about how you feel about you. And Librans who like to relate are not always very good at going within and kind of looking at this inner world of theirs. But, you know, this new moon in Virgo is saying, you know, it wouldn't be a bad thing to actually pay attention to the kind of intuitive gut feeling thoughts you have. It would be a good time to sort of think about maybe doing some personal self-development, Libra, whether that's with a life coach or counselor, or whether it's just by reading some self-help books. That could be really super helpful for you, Libra. And it's trining what's going on in your 4th house of home. So I do feel that home life, there is something that is very important for you to feel at home wherever you are. And I think Librans, they can make a home in lots of different settings. You know, some people just need to be in their home. I'm a Taurian. I want my home. I want my base. I want my one home. And, you know, there are other signs that perhaps can be at home here or at home here. And I think Libra likes to have a little bit of that variety. Now, Scorpio. Lovely Scorpio. This is in your 11th house of hopes and wishes. What are you wishing for? Because I think if you pay attention to the details of this particular dream, you could certainly see some bearing fruit from that. And you see it's trined by what's going on in your 3rd house of communication and thought. And I reckon that, Scorpio, you need to be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Okay, Sagittarius, we're moving on to you now with the new moon in your 10th house of career. Fantastic. I just think, Sagittarius, and I think I said this for your, I don't know whether it's your September astrology or I've been also now looking at the October astrology, but I can see you being offered a new position. And so, Sagittarius, I really do feel if you want to change where you're currently working, this would be a really good time to start looking. And also, I think because it's trined by what's going on in your 2nd house of finance, it would bring more money. So it would bring more money to the table. Go for that, Sagittarius. Really look at it. Okay, Capricorn. Oh my God, Capricorn, you have just been, you know, going through it for the last 2 or 3 years, because for Capricorn, they have had these heavyweight big boys, Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn, just going backwards and forwards. And thank God they are a stoic sign, because they have held up and endured beautifully the energy of these planets. Now for you, this new moon is in your 9th house, and it's trined by what's going on in your 1st house. So I think for me, what this means is that I think, Capricorn, as much as you like staying put and making sure you have a firm structure to kind of be, you know, stuck in, protected in your castle, I think you want to start moving. I think you're getting itchy feet, Capricorn. And, you know, the 9th house, of course, is very much about, can be about travel. I know we've got restrictions, but I think you need to do it for you, even if it's just short journeys that just change the energy and change what you're looking at. But now let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, the new moon for you is in your 8th house, and it's trining, making a good aspect to what's going on in your 12th house. So what does this mean? Well, this is to do with other people's money and finance. And I don't know whether you have been perhaps waiting for some kind of inheritance to be sorted out. It can be an estate, it can be that kind of thing, waiting for probate. But the new moon would actually see some movement with that. And the 12th house trining it, I think whatever's been going on for you, Aquarius, I really feel you're going to begin to see it's like light at the end of the tunnel. You really are beginning to get a sense that what you have personally gone through in the last few years, because I think it's been quite tough for you, Aquarius, in many ways, for many reasons. And I think you're beginning to see that if you shift and just change your focus and change your energy, it could be so much better for you. Pisces, the new moon for you is in your 7th house of significant relationships with your nearest and dearest. So, you know, if you've been having maybe, difficulties in relationships, because, you know, I think we've all been under pressure this year. And I would imagine if marriage counsellors could see clients at the moment, socially distanced, they would be very busy with relationships that have really, really struggled through this whole year, because there's nothing like a bad time to find out what a relationship is made of. And I think this bad time that we're all going through has really had an effect on you, Pisces. And I think this new moon is giving you an opportunity for a breath of fresh air in your relationships. So maybe it's a chance to begin again, to sort of go back to basics and look how you can actually serve each other, because, you know, Virgo is about service, and sometimes, you know, we get so absorbed in ourselves. I was aware today of something I had got into with a friend, where I thought, I've not actually been serving this friend well. I've not been acknowledging what she's doing, because I've been absorbed in my stuff. And so, you know, all of these things are kind of learning curves for us, lessons for us. And so I'm very much aware that, and I think that for Pisces also, sometimes we get so absorbed in ourselves, Pisces, and you can tend to do that because Neptune being your ruling planet, and you are a water sign, so your emotions go all over the place. You go everywhere. And boundaries are really difficult for you, but you are trined in this new moon by boundaried Saturn in your 11th house of Virgo, of hopes and wishes and dreams. So I think if you can just contain yourself, Pisces, just try and find a way to just keep it together a bit and look from out of you into the other. And I think if you start looking at the other, you'll see yourself and you'll see actually what you can be. So listen, on that note, I want to thank all of you, as always, for being such super audience. I really appreciate all the shares, all the likes, the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be doing the October horoscopes or astrology for YouTube in the next few days, and they'll be up on YouTube next week. And I'd love it if you could look at those. You know, it's an interesting time we're going through, and to sort of launch myself as an astrologer in 2020, I really did kind of take it on big time, because this hasn't given anyone an easy ride, and certainly it's not giving astrologers an easy ride in many ways. So I do want to say thank you very much. Bless you all for watching. There will be a full moon live video on the, am I going to remember when it is? I will tell you. It's the 1st of October. It's the 1st of October, and it is in Taurus. So we have a full moon in Taurus. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, it's in Aries. We've got 2 full moons next month. Whoa. Yes, that's right. So I think it's a blue moon. So the full moon is in Aries on the 1st of October, and that will be via Gozo in the house. So, again, thank you so much for watching me, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.